Welcome, your face is back to pause screen. This week, I think there might have been some news, but who really knows? Who can say? Who could say what might have happened? I don't know. Maybe the Oblivion Remaster did come out. Maybe I'm playing it. Maybe it's amazing. Who could say? Welcome back to Pause Screen, the internet show where I talk about whatever I feel like talking about, and I don't really care what the industry is doing. This week's going to be a weird pause screen. I'm not really going to cover news at all. I'm going to talk about the remaster. I'm going to talk about what I think of the remaster, and I'm going to talk about what I think the remaster means for the future of Bethesda games. Oblivion got remastered. Maybe my favorite game of all time. As you probably saw from the intro, we've been playing it, and we're going to talk about it. So, Bethesda, obviously we had the leak last week. I reported on the leak last week in last week's pause screen. Bethesda put a post out Monday, and they're like, hey, tomorrow, 11 a.m., all's going to be revealed. All was revealed. It was not only a trailer for the remake, or remaster, whatever you want to call it, it also came out immediately, like 5 minutes after that. I downloaded it. I started playing it. I'm a few hours in. I'm trying to decide exactly what the challenge run is going to be, so I've not recorded anything for it yet. So the remaster's been out for 2 days now. Tuesday, Wednesday, a day. It's been out for a day. I put probably 5 hours into it somehow already. I can't ever find time, but I found time. I guess I just love Oblivion. I've mostly been playing on my Series X, but here in the recording room we have the Series S. So I'm going to be playing on that today, and I'm going to try to iron out what the challenge details are going to be for the challenge run that I'm going to record. But yeah, so this remaster is incredible. So visually, lighting, the character models, the art, the assets, everything looks so good in Unreal Engine, and the game still plays like original Oblivion. It sounded to me like what they were saying, and it's kind of what the older reporting was when this stuff was leaked originally, was that they figured out a way to do creation engine in and use that as the brains, but then use Unreal Engine for the presentation. And if this is what that is, because it feels a lot like Oblivion, but it looks so good. I think it's a big deal. I think it's a big deal for the future of Bethesda, and here's why. So when the Oblivion remaster was originally leaked, there was also Fallout 3 remastered talked about. And so if we're gonna get Fallout 3 potentially in a few months or later this year, and then they could also say, okay, well, this was a great success, because I'm sure Oblivion's doing bonkers. Game Pass numbers are probably way high. People on PlayStation are probably buying the crap out of it. People on Steam are probably buying the crap out of it. Oblivion's just such a good game. If you haven't played Oblivion, there's so much I could say about how good Oblivion is and how good it feels to be back in Cyrodiil. And just seeing all these things and them being kind of like what I remember them in my head being, even though I know, you go back to play the original Oblivion and it's just so ugly and it's so bad and it's so janky. And they didn't change that much. I thought maybe they'd switch it to the dual wielding magic setup of Skyrim, but no, they left it the way it was, which I really appreciate. They didn't add a bunch of base building mechanics. They didn't add crafting. I would have liked a little bit of crafting, I'll be honest. I was really hoping for a survival mode. But if it does well enough, maybe we'll get some updates in the future to add some of that stuff. But all in all, they made a little bit of a compromise on the leveling system. So instead of you getting points based on which types of skills you advance during that particular level, you now get to decide where to put the points, which Bethesda games, I always like them better when you are deciding how to build out your character. Like Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, these games have the best leveling system out of any game. What I would like to see is a Elder Scrolls game where you build out your skills and you decide where to put points. And then maybe like Skyrim, you also get perks based on a tree in those. That would be the best of both worlds to me. Because I'd like to be able to go, yeah, I'd like to put this into, long blades or short blades, or I'm going to put a couple points here or a couple points there, and then have your agility, athletics, these base skills be your traits, or your special stats, in Fallout 3. That would be the best of both worlds for me personally, but I know not everybody's into that numbering nerdy stuff. That's what I would like to do. This game does a pretty good happy medium for me, where as you level up, you decide where the points are going. I built what every person is going to do who's ever played an Elder Scrolls game, Stealth Archer. I'm going to play a Stealth Archer. I'm just going to play around, just kind of see. I'm just getting a feel for the world again. And then when I do the challenge run, obviously, it'll be more restrictive, and I won't be able to just stealth archer it up. But stealth archer is just always so much fun. But yeah, this game, I just can't praise this game enough. The way they covered the middle ground just right, where it's like, okay, we modernized some things. You know, they made it the way I would want a remake to be done. You know, the combat, while it feels nicer and it sounds nicer and it looks nicer, it's still just like I had a I wish I was recording at the time, but I was playing earlier and I shot a mountain lion because I was doing part of the Fighters Guild, and this mountain lion just starts ping-ponging all over the screen, and I'm like, oh, come on. That's that old Oblivion jank. I love it. You know, when characters ragdoll when you shoot them and just stuff like that, and they've got everything you love in here. So I'm very excited to see if they are handling Fallout 3 the same way. I really hope that they are, because I love Fallout 3 almost as much as I love Oblivion. And then if this does well, and it is what I think it is, where it's just, you know, reskinning or making new assets and then slapping it on the logic of the original game, maybe tweaking a few things. Like, obviously, like I said, the leveling system is slightly different. But if this is something they can do reliably and do it well, you know, we could do Morrowind, we could do Fallout 3, we do Fallout New Vegas. You could even do Skyrim again, because this game looks better than Skyrim, no offense. And I know everybody's like, I'll release Skyrim again, but come on. I mean, it hasn't had an overhaul like this, that's for sure. Maybe they can go back and get real creative and do, like, you know, Arena and Daggerfall, and more of a style similar. What I'd really like to see is the first 2 Fallout games done in the, like, Doom 64 like art style, like that pixel art shooter. Anyway, we're getting way off topic. The point is I think this is a really big deal. I think this is a big deal for Bethesda moving forward, because first of all, Bethesda Game Studios actually didn't do this. This company named Virtuos, or whatever they're called, they did it. And the reason that's a big deal is I don't think Bethesda's ever really let anybody touch their properties before, other than Fallout New Vegas, and they were pretty much like, no one's ever touching Fallout again after that. And so that might mean, you know, someone is touching Fallout again, which could mean New Vegas 2 is coming, which, you know, the world needs more Obsidian. I need to go play Avowed still, but the world needs more Obsidian. I think we can all agree on that. I don't know. Oblivion Remaster really derailed the entire week, because I didn't even bother to, like, I knew I was going to be able to talk about this for the majority of this show's runtime, so I just didn't even bother looking into what might be reportable. I don't think there's anything too crazy, though, this week. We're still getting close to that May, you know, old E3 timeline where things are going to start popping up, and then we'll have a lot to talk about. But let me know in the comments if you're loving Oblivion Remaster, if you'd love to see what I said, the other Fallout games remastered. And if you have any ideas for an Oblivion challenge run before I kick it off, because I need to finish, so we'll switch here, I'll talk about what I've been playing. I need to finish I need to finish Final Fantasy Tactics. That's on the agenda. I need to finish that. Because I need to get that slaying the backlog out before I kick off this. I've just been playing around a little bit in Oblivion, but I cannot have that be my main thing until we get the slaying the backlog done. And then maybe we take a little break and we do an Oblivion challenge. I know I have an idea for what an Oblivion challenge could be, but I just don't know if it's better in Oblivion or something else. I haven't decided yet. So either way, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter pause screen this week. All in all, I appreciate you watching the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and all that. We'll be back next week, and next week we'll actually talk about news again. It's a little bit of a weird week this week. It's not every week one of your favorite games gets remastered, you know? So I appreciate you listening to me rant about Oblivion, and I will catch you guys next week.